calling in the quarters. On the east, I call in the winds, the air, Archangel Raphael, and the Magdalena clan. The breath of clarity, the breath of remembrance. Raphael, guide the air in insight, bring truth where distortion once lived. For the Magdalena line, please hold this space in grace. Let my voice be pure, my words encoded with soul. On the south, I call in the fire, flame of courage, flame of discernment. Archangel Michael, guardian of the threshold, sever all false cords. Ignite the codes of power within me. Let action rise from the truth, not fear. On the west, I call in the water, Kuan Yin and Isis and the Sophia Dragon tribe. Sacred flow, sacred memory, and mercy, I call in the waters of the west. Isis, Kuan Yin, and the holy bloodline, witness this release. Wash away distortion, restore what was buried. Let my emotions become my compass, not my cage. On the north, I call in earth, Archangel Sandalphon, the grid keeper of the song, foundation, resonance, and rhythm. I call in the earth of the north. Sandalphon, anchor this ritual in truth. Let my steps be steady, my field be sovereign. The old spells are broken. I stand in source alignment. I now ask the grandmothers of the universe to surround the sacred space. And I appoint Archangel Raphael to be the bouncer of this field. Only light may enter, and only the truth may remain. All else will dissolve. This circle has been cast. Light holds the truth. By the power of my I Am presence, I now command, it is done, it is done, it is done. By the power of three, a perfect trinity, it is done. Part one of a 3-part spell for Peggy O'Keefe. The grief was weaponized. I speak now to the higher self of Peggy O'Keefe, the mother, the mourner, the woman who buried a son and buried a daughter and was never given peace. I do not speak to the wounds. I do not speak to the opinions. I speak to the truth behind the grief. Peggy, your love for your son was real. Your pain was unbearable. But the rawness of the pain created an opening. There are those who do not honor your grief, those who see it as an opportunity. And into that opening, they place their hooks. You were not complicit, you were infiltrated. The jealousy, the bitterness, the narratives you began to repeat, they were not born of your soul. They were whispered into your subconscious by forces that saw your heartbreak as a tool. This is not a judgment. This is not an accusation. This is a recognition. You were made an anchor, not of your own free will, but of the hijacked of unresolved pain. The words you spoke in public, they were not yours. The rage you felt toward the wrong person, that was not rooted in truth. But your soul remembers John's light. Your soul remembers John's light, and your soul still grieves the way he was taken. I see you, Peggy, and I call your true self forward, the one who would never wish this pain on anyone, the one who is broken open and then filled with false fire. We will begin by naming this. Your grief was weaponized, but your soul is still sovereign, and now it is beginning to come home. You are now whole. Part 2. Permission to remember. Before the bitterness took root, Peggy, now that the grief has been named and the weapon has been seen, I speak to your soul with gentleness and strength. There was a moment, brief, sacred, and real, when you knew who to trust, when your intuition was clear, when your heart hadn't been hardened by courtrooms and headlines and whispered lies. That moment in your field, we do not need to force it. It lives there now. That quiet moment before the chaos. And we invite it back now. And so I ask, by the authority of my truth, and the light of your sun, may your original knowing return. May the grief that clouded your sight fall away like mist before the sun. You are not bound to the voices that used your mourning as fuel. You are not required to carry their anger as your own. Peggy, you are allowed to see clearly again, to remember who is gentle to your son, to remember the whispers you once ignored, to hear that still small voice, and to trust your own essence. This is your permission. You are free to recall the first feeling, before bitterness took root, before your intuition was silenced by grief, before someone told you who to blame. You do not owe the lie your loyalty. You do not owe the system your bravery. You are safe to return the love that was true and the truth that still lives in your bones. Let what is real come forward and let the remembering begin. By the power of my I am presence, it is done. I command that this is complete. It is done, it is done, it is done. By the power of 3, the perfect Trinity, it is done. Part 3, Reassignment of the role for Peggy O'Keefe. The anchor becomes the dove. Peggy, the grief has been honored, the memory has returned, and the distortion has been seen for what it was, a hijack of your heartbreak. But your soul is greater than your grief. It remembers the truth, and it remembers John's light. And now it remembers its divine role. You were never meant to be a tether point. You were never meant to carry someone else's vengeance. You were never meant to be used. You are released from the rage that wasn't yours, from the narratives that were implanted, from the anchor role you were tricked into holding. The system may have tried to weaponize your mourning, but your soul is too wise to be held captive. So now, in the presence of light and in the name of sacred remembrance, you are reassigned. You are no longer the anchor. You have become the dove. You are the one who sees the war for what it is and refuses to add more fire on the field. You are the peace holder, the end story. You are the mother whose love now liberates instead of binds. And this time you choose, not silence, not vengeance, but a return of truth in your own heart first. John is watching you. He never asked you to fight for him. He asked you to remember who you are. And now the dove has taken flight. The anchor has been dissolved, and the field is clear. The mother is free. By the power of my I am presence, I now command, it is done, it is done, it is done. By the power of 3, a perfect Trinity, it is done.